What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another patch notes update review. And today we have 11.7. Just recently had 11.6 bonus balance, probably about, I don't know, a week ago. So here we are with 11.7 Summer Rewind. Yeah, there's a lot of spoilers that I know of here, and if you can already see, and if you've been in this game long enough, you'll know some of these items. Nemean Lion, Stone Cutting Sword, and God, was a hybrid item? I can't remember what it's called. God. This one. Fatalis, and then this is a new item, I think. So, a lot of spoilers, so I do know a lot of what's coming. And it's going to be interesting. Going to shake up the meta. Going to do so many things. Bring back a lot of old players. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get into it, if you'd like to take a look at the patch notes yourself, the URL will be in the description down below. But let's get into this. So recently with 11.6, we've had the 9.5 changes. A lot of reverts. And with this Summer Rewind, a lot of new, old, new, whatever you want to call it, changes coming to 11.7. As we all know, Smite 2 is coming, so they're just fucking with shit, I guess. Looking at what they're doing with Smite 2, one thing with Fatalis is that this was in Smite 2, and it kind of makes sense that it's coming back here, or, you know, you can put those two connections together. But let's go ahead and get into this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Here are some of the skins. These are also going to be coming to Smite 2. This is a Medusa skin, that's kind of wild. So, starting off, we have Medusa's Deathmatch. I don't actually know what this is. Apparently it's a game mode that a lot of people have missed out on, so I'm actually kind of curious what this is going to be like. Let's see. So it's a 3v3v3 adventure mode. Team up, survive the shrinking sandstorm. Victory, the HUD has been updated to compatible with the plastic updated. Are banned from this mode. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that is. I'm gonna be playing that, but for all those people who missed out on this, like me, this is going to be a chance for us to play at it again. So here it is. Oh shit! We got some Joust changes, boys. Joust hasn't seen a change in so long. I'm assuming I'm gonna be doing a video on this. Yeah, there's enough here that we'll see. Along with all the new changes that I'm assuming it's gonna be old, new, whatever, with the items and shit that they're bringing back. I don't know how they're changing it. We'll see. I'm probably gonna make a separate video going over exactly what this means and how I think it'll affect Joust. Along, you know, just with the map, you know, the god choices, team comps, you know, everything about that, how to build gods. So yeah, I'll see if we'll see if we'll make that one. I should make a video about that, but let's go ahead. So despite several heavy-handed adjustments in the past, Joust has remained a mode that is dominated by double tank compositions. Season 10, it was not. It was dominated by the traditional team comp meta. So they're kind of wrong, but every time that they make small, big changes, it eventually just comes back to double tank meta in Joust. I can't exactly remember what made it a double tank meta this year, but I think it was at the beginning of this year was double tank at the beginning, and it hasn't changed. Our goals are twofold. Carries should come online faster in the mode, and the mode provides more map level options that support building damage. Additionally, we want the Demon King to be more oriented around team play, so we have added new strategic elements in order to push it away from being purely soloable, which is nice. Not being able to solo the Bull Demon King at like fucking 10 minutes into the game or even less makes it to where, you know, there isn't a case where one person is soloing while because any hunter can solo fucking the Bull Demon King, which is a little bit ridiculous. General 2 XP. So this is going to be changing for Joust as the general change. So 2 XP spooling added per tick. Passive gold spooling per tick increased from 6 to 7. Okay, so you get 2 XP, 2 extra XP per second. I'm not entirely sure what the tick, or I'm not entirely sure what the XP spooling is. Passive gold spooling per tick increased from 6 to 7. These are one of the changes that they made back in season 10, where it was 7 per tick, which kind of eliminates a lot of, well, this does help a lot of carries get online a lot faster. Like an item like Cannoneer's Cuirass is just completely useless in that game mode, in this game mode. And you just get things online a lot quicker. One extra tick is going to be a lot. Increase the base gold for all camps by roughly 10 to 20%. So you're getting more gold per camp. Minion gold increased by 10%. So if you're getting, I don't know how much gold you get per minion wave, but let's just hypothetically say you get 75 gold per minion wave, and you're getting an extra 7.5, which comes out to be like, what is that? 82.5 if I'm doing math correctly. So you're getting an extra, like, you're getting 10% more gold, which is nice. All camps have their health protections and damage scaling values updated, which I'm pretty sure that this is it right here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you're getting a lot more gold in terms of your passive per tick from 6 to 7. So you're getting your shit online a lot quicker, which actually did help squishies get their items online quicker. On top of that, anytime you do buff camps, you're also getting 10 to 20% more gold. And then on top of that, minion gold's increased by 10%. So this game mode is going to be a lot quicker to get online. I think games are probably going to end a little bit sooner because you're going to be able to get online a lot quicker, get your shit online. That also does mean, I think, that getting level 20 is going to be harder as well. Because you're going to be getting a lot more gold. You're getting a little bit more XP spooling per tick, so we'll see how that works. But from what I remember from season 10 is that you'd get your starter item and you wouldn't be able to get level 20 to upgrade it, which kind of meant you could kind of get rid of your starter items and it wouldn't really matter because you would never upgrade it anyways. Which means, yeah, you're going to get all your items online a lot quicker. So we'll have to see how that is. Hopefully it doesn't revert to that, because that was one of the biggest problems I hated with Smite in season 10 for Joust. Buff camps. Enhance red buff. Increase physical power from 10 to 20. 15 to 30. That's actually nice. That's actually doubling red buff, making it even more important. Enhanced increased attack speed from 15 to 20%. Yeah, this is sort of just making your damage dealers do even more damage, which is kind of crazy. This might actually push your squishies back into the meta. If you're just gonna be able to destroy tanks, there's no point of getting a double tank, right? We'll see. Demon King, a new debuff on hit. The Demon King's attacks reduce the damages or players' damage dealt by 20% and healing taken by 40% for 3 seconds. I actually like this. You shouldn't be able to solo the Bull Demon King as a mage, or, you know, if you're going to be able to solo it, you shouldn't be able to basically take no damage. Hunters, I feel like, should be able to solo it as the game goes on. Like towards like your later part of the game once they get their items online, because that's just like kind of what hunters do. But you shouldn't be able to solo it with like 2 items, which is kind of ridiculous. So damage dealt by 20% and healing taken by 40% is actually nice. I actually think that should have been a thing to begin with. Demon King now scales in other attributes besides health. Okay, so he actually scales like protections and stuff like that. Demon King now becomes enhanced at 12 minutes and grants an enhanced version of his buff, giving players an additional 10% physical and magical pen. Yeah, they really want to fuck with tanks. I get it, Jesus, but damn, 10%? Okay, everyone just gets 10% pen. I do like this a lot, actually, because if you don't know, Fire Giant in Conquest gets an enhanced buff at 30, and at that point you kind of just like, once you get it, it's just so fucking powerful. 10% penetration is a lot. Yeah, they're really trying to fuck with those tanks. That's actually a lot of fucking penetration, which should be able to make you kill tanks a lot easier as well. It's going to be a stat that you're going to want to try to remember. Tier 1 towers. Health reduced by 200. I hate that. Towers suck in Joust. And seeing as it's a linear map, then Joust is all about towers. It's a 3v3 one lane map where you only have your tier 1 and your Phoenix, and then you have your Titan. If you already know, the fucking tower sucks, even after they buffed it. I mean, you have 2 tanks that can kind of dive it at level fucking 10 and not give a fuck about this damage. So reducing it by 200. Let's see, base power increased. What is that? By 20. That's good. Physical protection shred increase per stack from 6% to 7.5%. If you don't, I think this stacks up to 3 times. So now it's going to be, instead of, was it 18, it's going to be 15, 22.5. And then instead of 24, it's going to be 30, which is nice. Being able to have some proc shred on your tanks while they dive you makes it to where, you know, not being able to fucking tank the tower for eternity, while also being able to take, because magical protection shred increase, you know, towers are based off of physical protections, meaning like you bit more physical protection, the more or the less damage the towers will do to you. Magical protections doesn't have anything to do with that. So this magical protection shred is only like for people trying to retaliate against them under their tower, which means that this is good. I like towers should be really fucking good if they're going to be in a mode where it's all about towers. I think that they should have, this is good to add these. I don't think getting rid of the 200 health is necessary. I think they should have kept that, if not buffed it, if towers are going to be that important in Joust, which they are. Phoenix health increase from 1500 to 2400. That's very good. Phoenixes should be really fucking good. You have you have three gods coming after a Phoenix, and you have Bull Demon, an objective that just shuts down the tower to begin with. It should have a lot more health. It should be able to do way more things than it already does. If you can sweep a team at like 15 minutes in the game and take their T1 and their Phoenix before they fucking get back up, I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be able to do that. Especially if you have a Hunter. If you have a Hunter at 15 minutes and you wipe them, you can go from tower to Titan depending on whether or not you have a fucking minion wave. Phoenix, so health increased by 900. That's a lot. That's good. HP 5 increased from 10 to 25. Nice. Physical protections reduced from 150 to 125. I don't like that. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it a little bit better, but not too much to where they're like, you know, there's nothing, it's just OP or whatever. But towers just kind of suck. Again, especially when you have an objective that can just shut it down for 90 seconds or however long it is. 75 seconds, whatever. I kind of wish it had more protections. It urges they just kept the protections there. Base power increased by 20. Physical protection shred, making the tier 1. And max regenerated health decreased by 30%. Overall, it's better, and I see what they're doing. They're trying to make it to where your tanks just don't, you know, infinitely tank the tower, which is nice. I do like that, but I think they should have just kept everything the same and then just added shit. But overall, this is really nice. I do like this. I see what they're doing. This is all in efforts to make tanks not as valuable. We'll see how it goes. I think that with the pre 9.5, I still think that tanks are still going to do a lot of fucking damage. I think this will definitely cause a stir up in the meta, though, or at least a potential to do it. Your gold spooling ticks, along with your extra gold from camps and minions, makes it to where your everyone gets online a lot quicker, which means your damage dealers, especially your hunters that take forever to get online, will now become online a lot sooner. Red buff and purple buff strictly for those gods who do more damage, and attack speed have an increase, 100% increase in terms of red buff, and then 5% extra attack speed for your hunters / ADC. Mages, Demon King adding 10% penetration when you build it or when you kill it after 12 minutes. That's to kill more tanks, and then your towers being pretty heavily buffed to kill those tanks, not be as tanky, or not be able to tank the tower as much, while also the tower is becoming a little bit more beefy in some areas. Titan health increased by 500. Magical protection reduced by from 60 to 45. That's a weird one. I mean, you shred the Titan too, so I don't know why we're ever like switching any type of nerfs or buffs, or any types of why we're nerfing any of these. I don't think you should nerf them, but for some reason we got rid of 15 magical protections, which is cool for some reason, I guess. But yeah, that's basically it for Joust. That's actually pretty good overall. I think squishies are going to be a lot more interesting this meta. And we'll see how this shakes it up, because if you remember season 10 they did something very similar to this, and it did bring back your squishies, your hunter, your mage, and your solo tank. So a lot of your really good guardians were pretty good, and then for like the entire season's warriors sucked. So we'll see. Going to some items here. Increase magical power by 5 for Shroud. Blood Soaked Shroud increased passive heal by 1% to 1.2%. This one's strictly for like your tanks, for like your guardians or whatever. Nothing too crazy. These items were only built on gods that have lifesteal or tanks. You know, this would be good on like Cthulhu. Fighter's Mask. This item is never bought. Increased power from 10 to 15. Increased magical power from 15 to 25. Cool, I guess. Protector's Mask, another one no one ever buys. Decreased by 100 gold. Warlock Staff increased health from 100 to 200, which makes sense with pre 9.5 items like this that didn't have, you know, a lot of health to begin with. I feel like it'd be more valuable. They're trying to make this item a lot more valuable to buy, even though when you stack this, you get a bunch of health anyway. So this is gonna be really good. Ethereal Staff increased buff duration from 45 to 60. Oh my. Okay, if you don't know, it was impossible to get more than 3 stacks because of how long the buff lasted. And you only get this every 15 seconds per stack, so you could only have 3 up at one point. Now you can extra fucking stack, which means you're gonna be able to kill tanks a lot more. I don't know why we're doing this. This item has been underwhelming for quite a while now, so we're rewarding players that are playing around there. Well, I guess that is true. Maybe because I'm a Joust brain fucking nerd. Ethereal Staff has always been good in Joust, and that's just because double tank has always been a thing. You're always in a single lane. Ethereal Staff always gets benefits, especially if you're a tank. This only makes it to where, you know, this item's gonna be a lot more valuable if you go double tank in Joust, which actually is another fucking nerf to a lot of tanks, is if you just build this, you just kind of kill them even more now, because it steals your shit. Cannoneer's Cuirass, decreased gold from 2,000. They just need to get rid of this fucking item. Just botch it. Just get rid of it. This has never been a good item. You reducing it by a 150 gold. I'm never buying this. I don't give a fuck. This item sucks. Because late game, which every game mode goes into, this game just this item just blows. This really only works if you're trying to get like ahead, like right off the gate. Like, you can almost buy this fucking item flat out with 1500 gold in Joust. My god. This item still sucks. Erendite can now be purchased by hunters, which is interesting. If I'm thinking about this, is there any god that gets really good value out of this that would make it to where you would build this at least occasionally? Maybe AMC? As is typical for the age of experimentation, we are now allowing various physical classes to purchase previous exclusive Arthurian items. On hunters? Danza? Maybe Danza? Danza can go there, because you're thinking of a god that can kind of go ability based, because you're never going to build Erendite on a god that needs AA items, because it's just a waste of a slot. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Fail Not can now be purchased by assassins and warriors. Oh shit. Merc. I mean, this does give you a lot of percent pen and a lot of cooldown. This would be a fun item to build on. That's actually kind of cool. I'm not entirely sure who you would build this on outside of maybe like a god that needs a lot of cooldown and that can kind of go crit. Maybe Merc. I don't know. These are kind of items that I don't think, and I'm just thinking like right at the top right now. I guess you guys can maybe think of some and let me know. I don't think these really benefit these classes all that much. Outside of maybe a couple guys. Circuit might be really good with this. Circuit would be really good with Failnaught, I think. Yeah, I'm thinking other gods would probably just be better with like Pridwin or any other item really in Failnaught. But it's gonna be fun though. I'm so curious to test this out or like look at some gods after the fact and see which one would be really good with this item. Heavenly Wings decrease cooldown from 130 to 120, 110 to 100, so you're about 10 seconds off. Overall, it's about, let's see, if it's about 20 seconds off, I think. Wait, no. Decrease cooldown from 130 to 120, so it was 130 before, 110. Yeah, it's about 10 seconds. I'm stupid. 10 seconds off overall, which is nice. Entangling Wings as well. Increased heal from 8 plus 2% to 10 plus 2.5%. You're missing health. Still sucks. Still sucks. Still sucks. Great. Increased buff duration from 6 seconds to 8 seconds, which is nice. I do like Bracer a lot. Divine Barrier. Ooh, look at that right there. Divine Barrier has yet to find its place. Yeah, you should probably change it or get rid of it. Giving a slight quality of life style buff to make it easier to use amidst the battle. Increased deploy range from 30 to 55. That's nice. That's one of the biggest things is like your deploy range. You need to have a lot more because it just comes like right in front of you. I think it needed to be a lot further. That's a lot of units. That's 25 extra units. So this actually might be a pretty good item to pick up. I mean, because if you walk through it, you get a slow. On top of that, you have basically, a barrier for people to shoot through. So that's actually nice. That'd be interesting to pick up. Hastened Fatalis. For anyone who doesn't know, this item plagued the meta back in the day. Way back in the day. And then they got rid of it because it was OP as shit. Basically, it's like Hastened Katana, but for hunters and ADCs and shit like that. So let's see what they're talking. Year 11 of Smite has been all about experimentation and giving longtime fans a wave of nostalgia. Hasten Fatalis is one of the most iconic items to ever be in Smite, and now it's making its triumphant return. We are aiming for this item to feel like a decently priced luxury, but we also recognize that for a haste effect to be relevant, the stats have also got to be up to snuff. So let's see. Toxic Blade is removed from the game. Thank you. Toxic Blade as items suck. Most of these items that just don't ever get played should either be get rid of, changed, or be put as a glyph. And with Envenom XC being in the game, Toxic Blade is probably the worst item in the game. Thank God they got rid of it. Builds from Fatalis, 2,500 gold, so not a cheap item, fairly expensive item. Makes sense. It is supposed to be a luxury item. 100 health, 10 penetration, 20% attack speed, and 7% movement speed. I don't remember what the stats were back in the day. I think it gave you actually power and shit like that. I'd have to go back. I don't really fucking remember. But these are basically just the stats of old Toxic Blade, if I'm remembering this right, which is fine. I don't think they should add anything else to this. Adding flat pen I think is good enough. Attack speed and movement speed is fine. Hitting an enemy with a basic attack grants haste for 1 second, causing you to be immune from basic attack movement penalty. I think this item is going to be obviously very good. You are going to be missing out a lot of regular stats that other items do give you, like XE for percent pen, Kins for its health damage related autos, shit like that. Aussie, you're going to be missing out a lot of your base power and shit like that. So if you do build this, you are going to be missing out on some shit like that, which is nice because it doesn't make it to where this item is broken like disgusting. It still might be, just because it is haste and fatalis. You just basically auto and you're just hitting them. If you hit your autos, you just win. And I think this item is going to be very good in duel, obviously. That's going to be a no-brainer, I'm assuming, for your hunters and magical ADCs. But there needs to be a balance towards this to where, it doesn't give you everything in one item. It is pretty expensive, but it's going to be very good on your hunters. If you know Smite 2, this item very fucking good. So we'll see how this falls. I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna do. I think if I were to guess, I'm pretty sure this item's gonna be pretty busted. Fatalis, this is its tier 2. Ritual Blade, very similar stats, nothing crazy. Lotus Sickle now builds from Ritual Blade, which means that That's interesting. I'm not entirely sure how that works. So Hasten Fatalis is now under the tree with Lotus Sickle. Interesting. Relic Dagger. And they also, maybe they added a new tree. Maybe they added a whole new tree. I'm not entirely sure. Interesting. Well, Relic Dagger's under that tree. Ichabod. Okay. Basically, they got rid of this item too. It was one of your go-to items for duel, and I think it's going to be back for that as well. Atlantis Bow has been removed from the game. Thank you. That item sucked as well. Builds from Hunter's Bow 2200, so it's fairly cheap. 20 physical power, 25 attack speed, 10% physical penetration. Highlight the pen. Pen is very good. Every successful basic attack increases your power by 5, reduces your target's physical power items by 5, and reduces your target's magical power from items by 10. Maximum of 4 stacks, so 20 and then 40 for magical. So obviously it's going to be a very good item for a duel, for all you duel heads. Conquest, I'm not entirely sure. I think there was one time where Ichabod was really good in the meta. As you're like tier 1, just getting your shit online right away. Joust, I don't think it's going to be as good. It is a fairly cheap item with pen, so maybe it's just going to be one of those items that might be pretty solid, but I just don't think you're going to want to get rid of this over even an item like Fatalis, I don't think. I'm not entirely sure why they got rid of this item. This item was actually fairly good. Like, it was okay. Like, it wasn't like a bad item. It wasn't like a crazy item. It had its ebbs and flows, but let's see. The Return of Fatalis, we want to use opportunity to consolidate other hasten style effects. Atlantis Bow is out. Ichabod's in. Ichabod was one of the premier early game box items for hunters who wanted to get active right out the gate. Yeah, this is one of your items that you build straight out the gate. So we'll see how that does. Duel, this is going to be crazy, though. Stone Cutting Sword. God, I love this item so fucking much, dude. I just loved it because you would get... This is a really good hybrid item that they got rid of for some fucking reason, man. I just love this item so much. So Stone Cutting. With hastened out, picture Stone Cutting seemed like the most viable candidate to return to the hands of assassins and warriors. We understand this item was a big proponent of what made hybrid-style junglers strong, so we'll keeping a close eye. Yeah. This item I'd always build on gods like Nem, Bakasura, Kali. I mean, there was so many, like, it just was so fucking good, and I loved it so much. I'm so glad they're bringing it back. Very good on Merc. Has been removed, hastened because of Hasten Fatalis. 2,300 gold, so, fairly reasonable price. 35 power, 7% movement speed, and then the passive. Melee basic attacks decrease enemy physical protections by 7 and increases your physical protections by 7 for 3%. So for your gods that use a lot of melee, this item made it to where you were also tanky as hell because you're getting fucking, 21 extra protections? And you get that with fucking Eye of the Jungle, or the upgraded of Eye of the Jungle, and you get a lot of protections with that as well. So I love this item. I'm so glad it's back. I'm gonna be building this a lot more on your sort of auto attack assassins. And I'm trying to think, would this item be good on any other god? I'm trying to think, maybe like a Fenrir, Serket, Bastet. I don't think it's going to be as valuable. These are kind of sort of your melee centric assassins and warriors, right? So this actually be good on Erlong as well. Osiris. Oof. Actually, now I'm thinking about this. This actually be a lot better on your warriors. Osiris, like I said, Erlong, Bologna, Amma. That's gonna be a lot of because you're thinking about it, you're getting an extra. You basically have 21 of each, but you're basically getting 21. Just add 21 of each protection on here because you're gonna be autoing so much as those warriors anyways. So it's gonna be a lot better on your AA warriors. Ring of Hecate, let's get it. Hasten Ring is now removed, so it kind of makes sense because Hasten Fatalis is just a better version, or just a more consolidated version for everyone. So it's kind of makes sense. 2,400, so it's a little bit expensive, not too much. 55 power, 20% attack speed, 15 magical penetration. Basically like a magical version of Ichabod, if I remember. Each successful basic attack applies a hex to enemies and powers you, increasing your magical power by 5% and reducing the physical and magical power of your opponent by 5% for, so you're getting an extra, what, 15%, and reducing your magical power of your opponent by physical and magical power by 15% as well. Now this did have lifesteal from what I remembers, and it doesn't have that anymore. It does have flat pen, which is going to be a lot. It's going to be really good on your magical ADCs. I'm so curious to see if magical ADCs will ever make a return. They haven't yet, and this will make it very interesting. I'm so curious how this is gonna, how all these items are gonna be in the meta. Super excited too. So basically just your magical version of Ichabod, but I believe Ichabod is flat power. Yeah, Ichabod is flat, and Ring of Hecate is percent. So obviously it scales more as the game goes on. Enemies who build more power will make it to where this item has more of an impact. 15% of 300 is obviously going to be a lot more impactful than 15% of 40, for example. Yes, and Chile, this item is back. I'm so glad they're bringing back the hybrid items too. Ever since they got rid of these items, Warriors have just never been the same. Warriors have your hybrid type items like Void Shield, Void Damaru. Then you have what are some other ones? Stone of Binding, and I can't remember the other. It's the tank version of like Poly slash Hydras. I can't remember what it was, but that item that's very good right now. Those items aren't really hybrid, even though they sort of are. These are real hybrid items. So they're bringing back these. Magical Protection. So in Chile, builds from Warded Shield, and they were also very cheap. They're also pretty broken from what I remember last time, and they couldn't fix it, so they just got rid of it. 200 health, 45 physical protections, 20 HP 5. Passive. Whenever you take magical damage from an enemy ability, you unleash a shockwave that silences all enemies within a range of 30 units for 1 second. The effect cannot trigger more than once every 30 seconds. While this effect is on cooldown, you gain 20 physical power and 35 magical power. Okay, so I was reading this. I started here for a second because I realized, I was like, wait, this had power on it. This is where the power is. They changed it. It doesn't have flat power in its kit, or in its base item. Whenever you take magical damage from an enemy ability, you unleash a shockwave that silences all enemies within a range of 30 units for 1 second. This effect cannot trigger more than once every 30 seconds. While this effect is on cooldown, you gain 20 and 35 magical power, 35 magical, 20 physical. So basically, while this isn't on, so whenever you fight, basically you have the power. So it's more or less the same item, just you have to get hit by magical damage, which makes sense. This was an item for anything. You wanted to build a little bit more protections for magical, but you also still wanted that power. You would have power in this, but now instead of that, they put it in its passive, which means when you're not fighting somebody who's magical, you're not getting the extra power. But once you are in a team fight, you know, stuff like that, you know, you're not getting your camps, or you're not doing wave by yourself with the enemy not there, then it will be impactful. And it makes sense that it's magical. So if you're going up against a physical god, like in Solian, for example, this would not be a good item to go up against, or not use, at least in your laning phase. So it makes sense. But I'm so glad that this is back. Nemean Lion, Hide of the Nemean Lion King is back, baby. Okay, so new item, Nemean armor, 50, 25, nothing, whatever. Hide of the Nemean Lion. Tank players rejoice, as it's time for Hide of the Nemean Lion to once again take its place as staple counterpick item against those pesky basic attackers. This item, I'm actually kind of glad it's back too, because with them buffing hunters and ADCs, this also means that you're going to have another option for your Hide of the Nemean. This was also like your go-to pick for your Kuzumbo, because this paired with his 2, absolutely gross. Grotesque even. We will be closely monitoring the damage this item is dealing, as we understand the prior frustration around this item are returning alongside it. We're excited to see more specialized builds return. Yeah, that's why they got rid of this, because they could not, for the love of God, they could not figure out this item. This item is fucking good as shit. If you don't remember, they tried to change Hide of the Nemean Lion to I think it was block stacks, and then just I think auto reduction. I can't remember. You used to get block stacks, and I think it would just reduce your the autos coming your way by like 50% or some shit. And then they just got rid of it because they couldn't figure out what the fuck. They're like, it's fucked. We can't figure this shit out. It's a fairly expensive item. Yeah, pretty expensive actually. 200 health, 50 physical protection, 20 HP 5. And then reflects 15% of all basic attack damage back to the attacker's physical damage. This is going back to what it was originally, I feel like. I can't remember exactly what it was, but 15% is a lot. Holy shit. So if you're going up against a lot of... This means that crit's fucked. Crit is dead. Like, I feel like... maybe I'm jumping the gun, but like... Can you imagine taking 15% of like a fucking 400 damage auto? What is that? That's, well, per auto too, because that's just one auto. You're taking... What did I say? 400, 10%, 440. You're taking, wait, math. 10% of 400 is 40. Divide that by 2. That's 60 damage back to yourself per auto if you're critting. That's not good. That's gonna kill hunters. So if you ever see a hunter, you're building this item. Jesus. But interesting. I'll say that. Hunters suck, I feel like, if you buy this item, especially if you go on like Kuzenbo. If you play Kuzenbo and you're going up against a hunter, you're cooked. You might want to ban that god. A new item, Fortress Shield. Shield of Phoenix. This is a new item. I don't think I've seen this item before. While this item may be a brand new name, okay, so it's actually as a passive, seems mighty familiar. Anytime you hit an enemy god with an ability, you are healed for 2% of your maximum health limit. Oh my god, I think this patch kind of, I think, benefits a lot of your solo laners. Well, King Arthur, Cuchulainn, and what other gods have a lot of abilities? For fuck's sake. Oh wait, and this also means a god like Ardio or Cthulhu will build this too, right? Yeah. If you don't remember, Glad Shield and Berserker Shield back in the day, Berserker Shield used to do, every time you'd auto, you'd get a percentage of your health, and I think it was health back. Glad Shield was you'd get a percentage of your health back from using abilities. They got rid of it because it was busted. They could not figure out for the life of them how to fix Berserkers and Glad Shield. Eventually, they came about to what the passives are today, and they haven't really changed it much because they figured out what the fuck they wanted to do. But they basically just scrapped the idea of whatever this passive is for this fucking item. You're always building this item on Cuchulainn, I can't remember his name, King Arthur, and Ardio. If you can build this on Ardio, which last time you couldn't because Glad Shield and Berserker Shield were actually exclusives to physical gods. Now that it's not, I don't think that it is. I mean, you're building this on every time. And then on top of that, if they don't get rid of Glad Shield with Shield of the Phoenix, yeah, you might be cooked. So if you have two physical, for Joust, for example, if you have like a warrior and a hunter and a guardian, and you build Shield of Phoenix and Glad Shield, you're cooked. Holy shit. 200 plus, let's forget that. 2350, fairly, for its passive, actually pretty cheap. For what this gives, it's pretty cheap. 250 health, 30 physical protections, which is actually not that much, 20 HP 5, and 10% cooldown. That's bloated as fuck. This item is fucking good as shit. Unless I'm reading something wrong, this item is gross. Anytime you hit an enemy god with ability, you can heal 2.2% of your max health and mana. Only triggers once per ability, that doesn't matter. That item's really good. Shifter's Shield is back, baby. 2400. Relatively, yeah, it's pretty, a little expensive, not too much. 300 health, 30 physical protection, 30 magical protection, 20 HP 5, and of course, it's passive. While over 75% health, you gain 30 physical power and 45 magical power. While under 75% health, you gain 20 protections. Now, and then I'm thinking about it. I made the... I don't know how I feel too much about it. With the cap for 75% is like over 75 you get power, under 75 you get protections. Probably would have lowered it to probably like 60, because that's a fairly easy threshold to get past, so you're not getting benefit out of your physical power, which might be the point of it. I'm not entirely sure what they were thinking. But I love these items. Items like this, where they have like an over under, where, you know, if you're over something, then you get something. If you're under this, you get something as well. So think of like Blackthorn Hammer, you get cooldown or you get all the MP5 in the world. I love these fucking items. They add so many like intricate, like there's more depth to these items that I think I just love. I just love these type of items. So you're just getting flat out protection, so you're getting a lot of protections, which is really good. You're gaining health, which is fucking good as well. Getting HP 5 for a pretty reasonable price, while adding a passive that makes it where you get more power or more protections based on, you know, how much health you have. This item I'm gonna be building a lot on. I think this item's gonna be very good on a lot of your hybrid gods. Obviously, it's a hybrid item, so your hybrid assassins are gonna be building this a fuck ton. And even on your tanks, I feel like this is really good as well. Now you pair this with like Shield of the Phoenix, Glad Shield, or, you know, any of those pairs, and I mean, you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. Steel Crest replaces Bronze Mail, retain the same stats and passive. And those are the items, bro. I'm so fucking excited for this shit, bro. I can't tell you how long it's been. I don't know why we got rid of Shifter Shield. I know why we got rid of this. I know why we got rid of Nemean Lion. I'm glad they got rid of that. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to tweak this item. I don't know why we thought to bring this item back. I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna be fun as hell, but I think we need to get rid of this item again. And Shile, there was another item I can't remember. It would, I think, reduce. I can't remember what it was. But it was built under this tree as well, and it was magical defense. Ring of Hecate is back. Stone Cutting Sword. Ikaval's back. Hasten Fatalis, that's going to be kind of crazy. And oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I'm so glad they're bringing back some more interesting, you know, items and effects and shit like that to Smite. It's going to make it so much more fun. Having the same old items with like different small changes kind of gets old after a while. So I'm kind of glad they're bringing back, especially with this being basically the last season of Smite 1. I want something crazy. I want something good. I want something that's like going to be fun. I don't need like, you know, small tweaks here and there and then that's it. Like, come on. Make it fun at least. Now we're on to gods. Medusa was busted. I'm not sure why they didn't ban her, or they didn't nerf her last time. She's disgusting. The best hunter right now. Decreased damage from 20 to 40 to 18 to 38 per shot. Increased cooldown from 10 seconds at all ranks to 12 to 10. So like I said before in my other videos, they do like to do this inverse thing where they'll change the flat cooldown to a more staggered approach, and vice versa. If it has a staggered approach and they want to buff it, they'll make it just a flat number. So early on, this is not going to be it's going to be doing a little bit less damage and being a lot more longer cooldown. Acid Burst Spray, decreased damage from 105 to 325 plus 85% scaling to 100 to 320 plus 80% scaling. So just a small damage decrease. Petrify, decreased damage from 30. Actually, I want to say small. 5% plus a flat 5 isn't really small. It's mainly the 5% that makes it a lot less. Decreased damage from 300 to 700 to 100%. Plus 100% to 280 to 680, so 20 flat minus 5%. Increased cooldown from 90 seconds to 100. I'm gonna be honest. I think her damage was already pretty, like, really fucking high last patch before the 9.5 changes. So what would that be? 11.5. I thought she did a lot of damage beforehand, and I wouldn't have been opposed to a nerf back then. With the damage changes here only being a little bit significant for each ability, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think she's still going to be very good. Obviously, a little bit less, but I still think she's going to be in that upper echelon of hunters. She's going to be doing a fuck ton of damage. Because you have to account that she was already doing a lot of damage in 11.5. Then you go back to pre 9.5. You're doing even more fucking damage. And I think just a little bit of damage that they're decreasing here is not going to be enough, in my opinion. You may not be able to one-shot, but you'll definitely fucking 90% someone's health instead. Mulan, another god, really fucking good with her damage. Decreased damage per hit. Very similar to Medusa. I think her damage is already off the charts to begin with. And then once you go to pre 9.5 changes, it's going to be even more. So 100 to 260 to 100 to 240. So flat out 10 less damage at the end game. Decreased bonus damage from 20 to 60 to 10 to 50. Okay, so an extra 30 basically on her too. Increased cooldown from 13 seconds flat out to 15 to 13. Very another staggered approach. So early game, it's looking like for this item, for this ability, it's going to be a little bit less. And then obviously her ult decreased sword damage from 80 to 320 to 80 to 280. So wow, okay, an extra 40 damage. So it's looking like they want to reduce her late game damage. Her early damage is still going to be pretty nuts. So you still grapple someone. I mean, yeah, you still grapple someone. You're still going to be able to, 75% all of their health, especially if they're squishy. Because you got to imagine early game, your ult's not going to be all that valuable in terms of damage. You got to remember, Mulan had a lot of buffs over the past year or two or whatever, making her passive a lot easier to get online with the damage decreases. Just flat out more damage to her, making it to where she's just, is there the entire time of the game. Because before, Mulan would fall off hella hard. Kukan, another guy that did a lot of fucking damage. Let's see, barbed spear plus ground stone, that says 1. Increased damage from 85 to 320. Oh, decreased. Holy shit. Okay, I was about to say 85 to 325 to 80 to 320, so 5 flat. Remember, scaling on warriors isn't as important. It's more about your flat damage. Increased cooldown from 15 to 16 to 12, so 1 extra cooldown. Remember, he had a lot of buffs too. Spear of Mortal Pain, that's his ult. Decreased damage from 175 to 475, 175 to 455. So late game again, very similar to Mulan. Increased cooldown from 100 to 80 to 105 to 85. So an extra 5 seconds. I don't think that's important. Overall, they're still going to be very good. I think they probably should have done a little bit more, but I think it's okay because I'm still going to be playing these gods. That's why. Yeah, these guys are still going to be pretty good. Nuwa, another guy that's been doing a lot of damage. Who would have thought that Nuwa being able to hit you from across the map would do more damage now that everyone has less protections and health? Who would have thought? Decrease clay soldiers, decrease protection reduction per stack from 4 to 20 to 4 to 16. Only makes sense because with the fucking reduction in fucking protections. And an increased cooldown on her 3 from 8 seconds to 9. You'd fucking destroy people with your 2-3 combo. This doesn't really change much. It's more the damage for her, in my opinion, than it is the 1 second fucking cooldown. So new wall still gonna be very fucking good. I'm so curious. What are they saying about this? One of the biggest beneficiaries of the pet proc changes, new wall has risen through the ranks rather quickly. Just missed to 11.6. As such, it is in the area we're focusing on nerfing, in addition to a small cooldown. I mean, it needs to be the damage, brother. Yana still being able to one-shot, decreased damage from 110 to 370 to 100 to 360, so an extra 10 damage. Threshold, this is his 3, so what is that, 10 extra 10 damage? Okay. Decreased scaling bonus from 20 to 60 to 15 to 55, so just small changes again. Agni, you gotta remember also mages are really fucking good right now too with their burst. Decreased damage scaling from 8% per tick to 6% per tick. Makes sense. Increased cooldown from 15 to 11 to 15 to 13. Holy shit, that's actually big late game. It makes sense. Not being able to have your abilities up, meaning you're not going to be able to do as much DPS / burst overall. In decreased damage, 140 to 300 plus 65 to 135, 295. Plus 60%. Yeah, so it seems like they're just making small tweaks. I think they could have went a little bit harder, not gonna lie, but overall step in the right direction. Not being able to do as much damage while also decreasing the damage per second overall for all these gods, makes it to where you're not going to be able to burst as much. There needed to be some type of change to where if you're going to revert everyone to pre 9.5, there has to be some also like trickle down effects to where other items and god damage slash timing cooldown shit like that's going to need to be changed too. Geb. Decrease damage from 100 to 380 to 1. He does a lot of fucking damage too. Decrease damage from 100 to 380 to 100 to 360. Makes sense. Overall, it's going to be late game shit that they're talking about. And it also, on top of that, makes more sense because you can still one-shot early in the game, but late game, you use one ability and everyone's fucking dead. So it does make sense they're trying to prioritize the late game aspect of it. Decrease shield from 50 to 250 to 50 to 230, making it to where, you're not able to, I guess you want to be squishier. I'm not entirely sure. I thought that you would want to keep this the same, seeing as everyone gets one shot. Decrease damage 120 to 580 to 120 to 540. Makes sense, very similar. Bacchus does a fuck ton of damage still too. Belly flop, increase cooldown from 14 to 15. Decrease cooldown to 12 at all ranks, doing the staggered approach here, making it to where it's a lot, burst and shit like that, damage. Increase cooldown from 12 seconds at all ranks to 15. Wait, increase cooldown from 12 seconds at all ranks to 14 to 12 seconds. Okay. Thanatos, decrease damage from 100 to 380. So it's just basically 5 power. We're actually not changing the scaling to this, which is interesting. And then increase the cooldown. Decrease penetration from... This makes sense too, obviously, because if you guys don't know, his stim is like one of the best stims in the game. It gives you so fucking much. Decrease penetration from 10 to 30 to 5 to 25. An extra 5 off at all ranks, meaning you're definitely not going to be able to one-shot as much anymore. It was always your 2-1 combo that just fucking takes all of the enemy's health, which is crazy. Thor, fuck this god. Decrease base health from 475 to 460. Remember, Thor used to be a warrior. Increase cooldown from 10 seconds at all ranks to 12 to 10. Similarly, same shit. Anvil of Dawn, decrease damage from 100 to 360 plus 90% to 100 to 340. So an extra 5% and 20, very similar, same shit. Yeah. So overall, they're making it to where a lot of these gods have a little bit more higher cooldown, do a little bit less damage in terms of your base and your scaling. And this is especially prevalent in late game. That's basically all that was. Now we're going on to buffs. Hades fucking blows cock. So let's see. Decrease cooldown from 90 seconds at all ranks to 90 to 70 makes sense. He still kind of sucks though. He's still gonna always suck, at least in Joust. Even in fucking Conquest, he sucks. So decrease cooldown from 90 seconds to 70, which is nice. So if you get 40% cooldown, I usually like to build Hades Chronos Pendant. I like to go Bancroft's Chronos into Typhon's Fang. That's just like my usual go-to. May not be like statistically the best, but I always like building that combo. Getting cooldown along with that. I mean, if you somehow get to 40%, I mean, you basically have a 35-second ult, essentially 40 basically. Not enough to make him that good though. Chronos, increased base health from 400 to 425. I guess they want to make him a little bit more tankier, along with the protections. Accelerate, decrease cost from 60 to 80 to 60 at all ranks. Again, it's the inverse of the way they're trying to change the cost in this case, making it to where as you level it up, it doesn't matter. Now it's just gonna be 60 at all ranks, and then decrease the cooldown by 2 seconds. That's a lot actually. Chronos has fairly quick cooldown, especially with his one, so we'll see how that goes. They're gonna keep buffing this god because this god has been getting a lot of buffs. They're gonna make it to where he's gonna be pretty good pretty soon. He's gonna be like a top pick, if not already, and we just don't see it yet. Cabrakan getting a buff, which is nice. He hasn't gotten a change in a long time since the spicy changes he made to his 3 and his kit and his 2, shit like that. Decrease cooldown from 16 to 14, extra 2 seconds I like on his 1. And then increase protection per stack from 2 to 6 to 4 to 8, which is very nice. Cabrakan just hasn't been in the meta. I think he's a pretty solid god. He's just not like the top tier god he used to be. And I think this is gonna make it a little bit better. Ymir, increased damage dealt debuff from 10% to 15%. Frost Breath, decreased cooldown from 16 to 14 to 14 in all ranks, very similar to the inverse. Ymir has always been pretty solid. You just gotta play him correctly. Yeah. Yamoja, Omi, increased basic attack healing per level from 0.2 to 0.4, doubling the fucking healing, which is nice. Increase slow from 10% to 15%. It's an extra 5%. Decrease cooldown from 140 at all. That's crazy. That's a long cooldown to 120. It makes sense. If you play her ult correctly, it's probably one of the best ults in the game, at least team oriented wise. So that's pretty good. I like that. But again, Yamoja, this is only going to be good for your gods, for your people who are really good, are really solid at Yamoja, which not a lot of people are. Fafnir getting another buff, dude. Oh my god, this fucking god is already good. Stop buffing the Faf Daddy. Okay, decrease cooldown from 16 seconds at all ranks to 16 to 14. The inverse again. So that's going to be up a lot fucking more. And then in his ult, increased duration from 20 to 60 to 40 to 60. I actually like this change a lot. Whenever I play Fafnir, I hate the fact that his ult, I gotta keep remembering, like, oh, his ult literally lasts for like 2 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. It feels like 2 seconds. Now they're doubling it earlier on, and then it, you know, scales off to what it was, or tapers off to what it originally is, which is like 60. These are actually, I don't mind these. These aren't like crazy buffs, but he's gonna be a lot better, even more. So in Joust, he's even more of a man. Erlong Shen, 72 transformations. The turtle form now knocks enemy. Oh yes, Erlong back in the jungle seat. Oh my god, why do they ever get rid of this? Let's go. He's so much fucking better now, and he was already really good in Joust. At least he made a comeback when the AA warriors were in the meta. He was always in that meta, he was always a solid pick. And I still think he's an okay pick, but now that this has a fucking knockups are the best fucking I'd argue to say it's the best CC in the game. Oh my god, I'm so glad that this is coming back. I'm gonna be playing this guy more in the jungle. So you're bound to see him with Stone Cutting Sword or in duel with Ichabod. Oh my god, he's a top pick again. He's a top pick again, I say. And I think he's an even better pick in Joust as well. So let's go, baby. Let's fucking go. Oh my god. Chalk. Oh my, why are we buffing Chalk? Why are we buffing Chalk? I was playing Scylla the other day. And for fuck's sake, did this fucking guy half hit me with his one? Now, granted, he built Jotun's Wrath, which is flat pen, and I'm Scylla. I don't have any physical protections. But for the love of fucking god, I was like level 6 and he threw his one out and hit me, and it half hit me. What the fuck is that about? This god, I swear to god, you people don't see this. Chalk is so fucking good. Chalk, I think, is one of the better warriors. I used to not think Chalk was good at all. Chalk has become one of the best warriors in the game. This god has gotten like 10 different fucking buffs within the span of 1 year. This god is disgusting. Increased damage from 90 to 330 to 100 to 340. An extra 10 power. Great. That's awesome. Decreased mana cost from 75 to 95 to 75 at all ranks. Great. Awesome. Now you can just spam out his 3 without losing any mana. His ult, Storm Call. Let's just increase more damage. Increase damage from 300 to 500 to 300 to oh yeah, 40 extra power. Let's go. Let's make Chalk even more fucking busted. Now, I don't think he's the best warrior in the game, and I don't think he's beyond busted, but like, Jesus Christ, this god is so fucking good, and they just keep buffing this man, and I hate going up against this god, because beforehand, whenever I'd go up against a Chalk, I'm like, he doesn't do much. I just gotta worry a little bit about his damage. This fucking thing, you gotta move away from his one, the easiest ability to hit in the game, or otherwise, he's gonna fucking take half of your fucking health as a squishy. I'm playing the fuck out of this god. Fuck all of you. And when I use this god against a fucking, if I see any fucking god on the enemy team that has any type of AA capability, like they have a hunter and they have like a Erlong, because Erlong is now good again, I'm playing the fuck out of Chalk and I'm running you down. I'm running you fucking down. Oh my god, Chalk is gonna be in one of my R's. I'm taking advantage of this god. This god is fucking good. I don't give a fuck. He's so fucking good. And I hate that they keep buffing him. Anyways, Nox. Nox has not been a very good god ever, really. Flame of the Night, increased magical power per stack from 3% to 5%. That's her passive. That's pretty good. Increased damage scaling from 100% to 110. They're really trying to make her to do more damage as your Burst Mage, as obviously Nox can be in that support type of role. Decreased mana cost from 90 at all ranks to 75. I still think she sucks because of the way her kit is. You miss one of, you have to be really good. It requires a lot of skill ceiling for this god to be good. I still think she's gonna be meh. Set, my boy, one of my old mains that I used to love playing. Increased attack speed per stack from 2.5 to 3%. That's actually a lot. Kingslayer, ooh. Decreased cooldown from 90 seconds, settle ranks to 90. Oh my god. Having a settle every single fight. This is gonna be crazy for duel. I've been slowly trying to play duel more. I don't know. I just can't fucking play it, I guess. But I only play set and duel for the most part because I just think he's really good and I'm pretty solid with him, and I think I just play him my comfort picks. This is huge. I like this a lot. You're building cooldown basically a lot on set, especially if you're playing Conquest and Joust. Having a 40-second cooldown is going to be crazy once you build cooldown items on this god. So he's going to have his ult up at all times, and his passive now is even better. So that's going to be interesting. Mammon Brigitte, increase healing from proc items. And oh, okay. Sheesh. Okay. If you guys don't remember, her one... I think this is her one. It now procs item effects, and now for 25%. Now it's 100%. So you're gonna be able to build items that have, like Soul Gem, for example. You're gonna be able to proc this 100%, which might be interesting. Nothing crazy though. Izanami, increased penetration per second 3 to 4. This god sucks still. Increased silence duration from 1.5 to 2.1 to 1.5 to 2.5. Still sucks. Nut, increased damage from 35 to 115 to 45 to 125. I think she's a bit of a sleeper god. I think she can make her, she can fit into some team comps and be pretty solid. Decreased cooldown from 14 to 12 seconds at all ranks, making her a little bit better. Not crazy though. Ratatasker, Acorn of Yggdrasil, that thing. What is this? Increased physical power from 15 to 20. Oh, they're buffing all the acorns. Increased physical power from 15 to 20. Increased heal from 2% to 3.7 maximum health. By 5 power. An extra 1%. So these two were the... I think this was the green one, and this was... I can't remember the names of them. But you have the green one that gives you health per every time you use an ability. Which actually, now I'm thinking about this. Rat with that item... with Glad Shield and the new fucking the new shield, that might be a little bit busted. Holy shit. Oh no, Evergreen, that's what it is. I'm sorry, what I'm a little confused on these two. Actually, let's go ahead and look. Okay, I was a little bit confused because Lively Acorn is the tier 2 of it. Thick Bark is the one that gives you an extra proc of this 2, and Evergreen is the one that gives you the 5% extra damage. So Evergreen now is increased by 5 to 6% of maximum health and mana, increased power. Thick Bark is this one that also does a very similar effect to that one. It's not as potent. And this is the tier 2. All right. Nettle Acorn increased physical power from 15 to 20. I'm pretty sure that's... Which one is that? Actually, let's go to Magical Acorn. Nettle, this is the tier 2 of that one. And then Bristle Bush Acorn, increased physical power. Okay, so basically, these are the two that give you more damage for your jungle aspect of Rat. So getting extra bit of power. So extra bit of power in their item is basically just as passive, more or less. And then finally, Ra, increased health from 68 to 71, increased damage scaling from 60 to 70% in his Divine Light. Solar Blessing, decreased cooldown from 15 seconds at all ranks, and they're doing the inverse of that, making him do a little bit more damage as well, which is nice overall. So a lot of good changes, things to note as I go back up. A lot of changes to their cooldowns, a little bit of damage increase. As far as, you know, some of their passives and, you know, other items or other abilities, a little bit more CC on her. Set cooldown reduction, a little bit more scaling and damage and cooldown, or mana reduction. Sorry. Chalk, a lot of fucking damage. Fuck you. Erlong, this one's be really fucking insane. I'm so glad they're doing this. A revert to his 3. Fafnir, cooldowns. Yamoja, more cooldown, a little bit better passive. Yeah, most of these are all pretty much cooldown or damage increases for your buffs. A little bit some other ones where, you know, you get a bit more protection, just making them have a bit of survivability. Nerfs, very similar. A late game nerfs to where they're not able to one-shot as easily. On top of that, they're increasing cooldowns for those gods that took a lot of advantage of the burst meta. You know, like Bacchus, Thana, Thor, Agni, Geb, Yanis, Nuwa. Obviously, you got these, but they're still going to be. Most of these guys are still going to be very good. If not all of them, they're all going to be very good. They're just not going to be doing as much damage. They're still going to be top picks, in my opinion. But hopefully, with the buffs on the other end, they'll make it to where, you know, a little bit less egregious. Shifter Shield, so glad that's back. This item is going to be, this is one of the items I'm going to have to take a look at and see. Like, I'm thinking this item paired with a lot of the other items are going to make him make warriors, especially your ability-based warriors, broken. Because they didn't get rid of Glad Shield. So I'm thinking this item might be just your go-to on your ability base. Like, it doesn't even matter. You just build this, Glad Shield, and you're fucking set. High Anemian, I think this kind of kills a lot of your AA gods, warriors. So if you ever go up against them, pick fucking Kuzenbo and High Anemian Lion, and you're good. In Chile, I'm glad they're bringing back some hybrid items. Not a lot of hybrid items. The only hybrid items they really brought back were in Chile and Shifter Shield, which is nice. I would like to see more of those. Stone Cutting, technically, this will be good on your AA warriors more than it would be your assassins, I think, but very good on your tankier assassins that can kind of that build out like abilities, or that build out with autos. So like your Bakasura, Merc, Nemesis is gonna be really good on Nemesis, like a tank Nemesis, for example, be very good. But on top of that, you're still gonna build this on, you know, like Osiris. Erlong is gonna be very good with this. Ichabod, nice, coming back, can be very good in duel. Have to see if this is actually gonna have an impact on any other game mode besides duel. But maybe this will be your go-to early game. And then obviously Hasten Fatalis. I think this item's gonna be really fucking good, obviously. I'm glad the stats aren't as crazy, because it does mean that you're giving a balance to everything else, because you're not getting as many stats as you would on another item, for example. Small changes here, nothing crazy, and then the Joust changes. Gonna be cool. Can't wait. Actually, a fucking patch I'm really excited for. It's just going to shake up the meta, and I'm so glad that it has. 9.5 was a good taste. I think that was really good, but I think with constant changes like this, this is only a start. I think they're probably going to be bringing out more items, changing the current items that we have now, and to come items, these items right here. So really awesome changes. Curious what you guys think. Yay or nay? If you'd like to give me feedback, if I missed anything or you thought of anything that you may have wanted to see or say it in the comment section down below. Again, we have our tournament. We have a tournament for July 26th. I'll make sure to put the Google Sheet in the description down below. I should be making a video about it soon, but we still have a tournament coming up. If you'd like to join, make sure to read the rules and everything. Discord down below if you'd like to join the Discord to get more close to me, conversations, talk to me more. Join the Discord down below. Memberships are open, $2.99 a month. One of the best ways to support me if you would like. Obviously, you don't need to. Simply watching the videos is good enough for me. But yeah, what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. But I think that is everything that I have for you. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching.